Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Excitement is back at First Arena in Elmira. The new management team is looking forward to a busy spring with a number of events there, including concerts and a pro wrestling match. It all kicked off Friday at the arena's grand reopening. Big Fox's Matt Kleindinst joins us with the details.
Good evening. Fans and students gathered for two special occasions on Friday night. The first is Elmira College taking on Hobart College at the grand reopening at First Arena, and the second is to support the Billy Lowe Foundation. In its grand reopening, hockey was welcomed back to First Arena. For the first time since 2017, fans were able to watch Elmira College play in the downtown arena.
It is convenient to have the team walk down pretty much to the rink.
It brings it more local. You can have kids come, you can have students come, you can have community come.
A capacity crowd was on hand to watch the Soaring Eagles take on in-conference rival Hobart College. Coaches and fans alike embraced the limitless possibilities the arena has for Elmira College and the surrounding area.
It's nice to be downtown, maybe get a few more fans that don't want to drive up to the domes.
This building has been looking for positivity for the last couple years, and I can't wait to see what it can help with Elmira College.
On top of celebrating the arena's reopening, fans gathered to support the Forever 2-6 Fund, a foundation created in memory of Billy Lowe in order to encourage organ donation.
We have a talented hockey team, and we have a beautiful facility, and we have a good cause. And when you bring those three things together and they're all supporting each other, that you can only get great things to come from that.
First Arena hopes to have more events scheduled for the spring. Matt Kleindinst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
Southern Tier residents and businesses will soon be able to apply for loans to help repair flood damage from Tropical Storm Fred. Governor Hochul stated that the Small Business Administration will be available beginning on Tuesday. The SBA will provide loans up to $200,000 for homeowners and $2 million for businesses. The SBA has opened a disaster loan outreach center at the Woodhull Town Hall to help people apply. NASA's James Webb telescope will soon give us a new glimpse into our galaxy thanks to help from Corning Incorporated. The world's largest and most complex telescope was built using mirrors made by Corning. This isn't the first time Corning has partnered with NASA, as they previously manufactured mirrors for the Hubble, Gemini, and Subaru telescopes. The telescope was launched on Christmas Day and is expected to send its first images back this summer. Tragedy hitting police departments in two major American cities this weekend. The deaths of police officers in the line of duty in Houston and New York, prompting law enforcement leaders to pledge a new crackdown on violent crime. Alexis McAdams has that story.
Another city mourning the death of a law enforcement officer this weekend. Harris County, Texas Corporal Charles Galloway killed while making a traffic stop early Sunday morning in southwest Houston. He was shot multiple times after the driver he pulled over got out and started shooting. The gunman still at large.
Corporal Galloway did not have an opportunity to respond or even defend himself with this brutal attack. We cannot have people like this on our streets. I don't want to raise my family, my grandchildren in a county where this type of crime is running rampant.
We better get intentional, damn intentional, about locking up violent individuals and leaving them. It's a place for them.
That tragic loss coming just over 24 hours after another in New York. 22-year-old NYPD officer Jason Rivera was killed Friday night while responding to a domestic incident in Harlem. His partner, 27-year-old Wilbert Mora, remains in critical condition. The suspect, who has a lengthy criminal history, used a stolen gun. New York's new mayor says it's an issue that the federal government isn't taking seriously enough.
We've made it too easy for us to have a gun environment in this country and in this city. We're in a battle with a small number of people that believe they will hold our city hostage with violence. That will not happen.
Funeral services for Officer Rivera have been set for Friday of this week. In New York, Alexis McAdams, Fox News.
Health officials warning people about counterfeit N95 masks. It comes as more people are trying to stock up on these masks following new guidelines that they offer better protection against the Omicron variant. Kelly Rule has more.
It certainly is confusing, as every day or every week there's something new coming out about, hey, you should do this.
It's not hard to feel that way as COVID-19 guidance continues to adapt and change, but as health experts are now recommending using N95 or KN95 masks over cloth masks, the CDC is now warning about counterfeit masks.
There's a lot of them out there.
The CDC compiled a list on their website. They say to make sure any N95 you purchase has the NIOSH marking and it's spelled correctly. KN95 masks, on the other hand, should not have that marking. Stay away from N95s or KN95s sold with sequins or a decorative fabric, and look out for children's masks that claim to be N95s.
It's a cash grab for a lot of people. It's difficult when you go on Amazon, you see all these different reviews.
A lot of people I've seen in my office wearing masks like this with this valve. Forget about it. It's great in the wood shop, but not if you want to deal with COVID-19. It has to be form-fitting. It has to be nicely, tightly fit. And if you do that, you're going to protect yourself.
Dr. Mike Sirigliano says the surgical masks are better than the cloth masks, and if you do not have access to an N95 or KN95, layering them is a good backup, and certainly far better than not wearing anything.
That, along with your cloth mask, will improve your protection. But basically, bottom line is you have to have something on your face.
A new threat could cause higher prices for consumers. Ashley Stromier has more on that and why the cost of some goods may not surge in the near future.
It's just the two of us, and I spend $500 a week on food, and I don't even know what I bought.
I feel sorry for people with big families. Prices are terrible. There's no reason for it.
Supply chain experts say we should expect to see increased prices at checkouts continue for a number of reasons. Businesses are paying higher money for gas, there's a shortage of workers, and the spread of the Omicron variant is creating issues for employers.
It's increased the variability in availability of labor, and it's also affected demand in sporadic ways.
Consumers are rushing out and stocking up on items, which puts pressure on companies to either announce products are sold out or it forces them to focus on the high-volume products. Fears overseas are also causing concerns for Americans, as Omicron variant cases have been showing up in China. There's a worry that could cause a manufacturing slowdown in items like semiconductors, which could impact the cost of cars and other electronics.
The question is how long these lockdowns would last and how many regions of the country would be affected.
Meanwhile, some experts predict prices for competitive goods may not surge as high as other items. They believe companies would rather take a financial hit than lose out on customers. Prices may eventually trend down, but some in the business industry say that largely depends on what happens with the future spread of the coronavirus and how it impacts the workforce. Ashley Stromier, Fox News.
Still ahead tonight, doctors in Colorado taking a creative approach to deal with the stress of work and resiliency on the front lines of this pandemic.
In these unprecedented times, there is such a need out there for helping to build resiliency for doctors that are on the front lines. Burnout is huge right now.
More on horse therapy designed to help doctors during these unprecedented times.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. Temperatures today cooler than they were yesterday, reporting about 6 degrees cooler this afternoon and Corning about 11 degrees cooler in Elmira. For tonight, temperatures will stay mainly in the 20s, dropping down to around 18. I think that's what we're going to bottom out to. We do have snow chances, but that will start to taper off by early tomorrow morning. It will be a tad warmer for your Tuesday. Wednesday, and then that frigid air will be back for the middle of the week. We'll take a look at those temperatures in just a little bit. But for tomorrow, there will be a little bit of snow early in the day as this cold front will be pushing in behind it. Temperatures will be a lot colder, but it will take a little bit of a lag for that cold air to get here. So I think that by Wednesday, we are going to have, or at least feel, that cold air. Tomorrow, though, temperatures will stay below freezing throughout the day, and so there will be some icy spots on the roadways. Of course, some snow as well. 21 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning. By noon, 25, and then we drop down to around 19 degrees by 5 o'clock. Clouds will start to clear away, and that's going to allow for that cold air to sink down into our area by Tuesday night. So let's take a look at our future radar, where we're finding some snow showers for tonight, but notice it starts to taper off by 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. I am expecting drier conditions through the rest of your Tuesday. There will be a few clouds that will remain, but notice the blue that's showing up in our northwestern corner, and that will be pushing into some of our hometowns by Wednesday. So there is some more snow returning to our area, and then we have another snowstorm that will start to hug the coast later on this week, and it could spread a little bit of snow toward our area Friday into your Saturday. So we have several rounds of snow showers to go as we head into the next few days. Here's a look at your forecast tonight. We bottom out at around 18 degrees in Elmira, but around 21 degrees in Corning, 19 in Wayland, and also in Bath, Watkins Glen, around 21 degrees. We are expecting temperatures to stay cold tomorrow. It's going to be below freezing throughout the day. Again, because these temperatures are below freezing, we are expecting some ice on the roadway, so just be careful out there. 26 are high in Elmira, 25 in Corning, colder in Wayland, around 21 degrees. It gets frigid on Wednesday, starting off in the single digits, only warming up to around 14 degrees, and then we drop to below zero by Thursday morning. But the good news is temperatures will start to warm up by the end of the week. 30 degrees on Friday with the possibility of snow, and then another Arctic blast by this weekend. Highs on Saturday will only be in the teens.
Some doctors are taking a creative approach to deal with the stress of work and resiliency on the front lines of the pandemic. Nicole Fierro joined Banner Health's doctors for a different type of hands-on learning involving horses.
From the hospital to the horse arena, a change of scenery for Banner Health's doctors.
We're in reverse, guys.
Residents like Dr. Tyler Ulmer.
Can you go back for me, please?
Learning a lesson.
All right, Rocket, let's do it. Let's do it.
Leading Rocket.
The horses are teaching quite a bit today.
Hearts and Horses, known for their equine therapy work with special needs children, adults, even businesses, now teaming up with the hospital group. 6 months ago, they got together to create this new course specifically for those on the front lines.
In these unprecedented times, there is such a need out there for helping to build resiliency for doctors that are on the front lines. Burnout is huge right now.
Practicing medicine is something we know very well how to do, but leading teams through a pandemic and doing something of the unknown, that's new to us. That requires us to really dig into our boots and pull out some leadership skills.
Dr. Michelle Alba watching the impact laps, jumps, and gallops around the ring are having on her residents. This year, round 2 of the course, some other doctors already bringing their skills from this barn back to the bedside.
First group has given us a lot of great feedback and saying that they're having more meaningful interactions with their patients, feeling more confident as leaders, communicating more authentically.
Skills supporting those in charge with saving lives. In Loveland.
Good job, buddy.
Nicole Fierro.
Come on. Okay.
Dogs trained to help and find disaster victims. Tonight, we see how one company in Tacoma, Washington is making it their job to teach these dogs how to save lives.
Fawcett Elementary is a mothballed school in Tacoma. We've had the opportunity to come here. The fire department is also training here. Today I have Parker. Parker is in training as a live find disaster search dog. Ready, search. We set up training problems to try to mimic a situation that we might find in a real disaster. So we, hide a subject in kind of an inaccessible location because that's when the dogs are going to be utilized.
After an earthquake or a hurricane, buildings look like there's a lot of stuff they need to kind of
climb over, climb through, get in.
Our dogs have a bark alert, so when they find a person, they stay and they bark.
This is what they work for, like the big paycheck in the end for them. Getting that toy, getting some play. For them, it's just a big fun game.
Search. Most people look at a building like this and they, think, oh, that's just, we're going to tear it down and we're going to move on. But opportunities like this really do help us create stronger search dogs that will be more effective in a disaster.
Good girl, nice work.
Since we're a disaster-focused search dog team, we don't get called out very often, which is a good thing. Some of the dogs on the team are also human remains detection dogs, and so they do get called out to help with fires and things like that. We joke sometimes that search dog handlers get a little excited about weird things like mothballed buildings. But we do, because we just can't recreate this in any other environment.
Good job, buddy.
The NCAA's new policy concerning the participation of transgender athletes empowers each sport's national governing body to set requirements. It also mandates hormone testing for champions. This new policy is getting some backlash. Alexandria Hoff has more from Washington.
The NCAA will now allow trans athlete policies to shift on a sport-by-sport basis. Previously, trans women were overall eligible to compete if they could prove that they had received testosterone-suppressing medication for at least a year prior. That's the case for Leah Thomas, who has been breaking records this season on Penn's women's swim team. The new policy also requires hormone testing for championships. Caitlyn Jenner sounded off on Fox News this week. Listen in.
Disappointed. Basically, the NCAA just kicked the can down the road. And it's unfortunate. I am out there to protect women's sports.
Jenner added that even void of testosterone, she still outperforms women. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem said on Fox News Sunday that she's pushing a bill to protect sports for biological women and girls.
This is about fairness. This is about making sure that our girls have a chance to be successful and to compete, to win scholarships, potentially go on and play professional sports beyond that.
USA Swimming provided a lengthy statement on Twitter. It reads in part, quote, "We also strongly believe in competitive equity and, like many, are doing our best to learn and educate ourselves on the appropriate balance in this space." Trans athletes like Chris Mosier have also taken issue with the policy change. He wrote in a statement that he feels it was rushed and provides no safeguards for trans student athletes.
A survey conducted by creditcards.com showed nearly 1/3 of U.S. couples admit to financially cheating on each other. Of the over 2,400 adults who participated over the last year, 15% admitted to spending more than their partners would be okay with. 9% said they have secret debt, and around another 9% keep a secret credit card or savings account. The age group that cheated the most was young adults and millennials, and some of the reasons included never feeling the need to share personal finances and desire to control their own money. Feeling the burn. An activist investor is calling for Peloton CEO to be fired. Coal still under pressure to sell itself. Tax season is here, and Apple is nearing its first product launch of 2022. Here's Cheryl Cassone with today's business headlines.
Peloton feeling the burn after its tumble. Activist investor Blackwell's Capital is pushing for the company to fire CEO John Foley and pursue a sale. The call comes after the company's stock plummeted more than 80% from its high amid news reports indicating the company would halt production. Foley says Peloton is instead considering scaling back production and considering layoffs. Well, a bidding war brewing for Kohl's. The retail chain has received a second takeover offer. The bid from hedge fund Starboard Value worth roughly $9 billion. That tops the bid from Acacia Research made last week. Kohl's has been under pressure to boost its share price. Two investment firms with a stake in the company have called on Kohl's to make changes or sell itself. Well, tax season has arrived. The IRS is now accepting and processing 2021 tax returns. But you might have to wait for your refund as the agency struggles with a worker shortage and a massive backlog from last year. The IRS says that avoiding a paper return will be more important than ever this year to avoid processing delays. And Apple is expected to unveil its new 5G iPhone SE and iPad at its first launch event of the year. Its long-rumored devices like an Apple competitor to the Amazon Echo and possibly an Apple AR/VR headset could also be unveiled. No date for the event yet, but reports say we could see one in March or April.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. Christmas only comes once a year, but Some Americans like to keep the comfort and joy going all through January by leaving up their trees. Holiday decor site Treetopia surveyed about 3,500 people to find out how long their Christmas trees stay up after the holiday. The country averages just under 3 weeks. Arizona, Illinois, and Maryland go for the ho-ho-ho the longest at about 4 weeks. North Carolinians are maybe a little grinchy at just 2.1 weeks. I wouldn't call it that. West Virginia, Minnesota, Mississippi, Montana, and New Hampshire are at about 2.3 weeks. The rest are maybe between 2 to 3 weeks. Hey, whatever makes you happy. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a merry evening.